Welcome back to the news at 10. We cross over to Abuja now, and here's Gloria Umezuoke. Gloria.
Hello, Ijoma. The Kogi State Police Commissioner, Mr. Wilson Inilagu, says he has commenced investigations into the cause of a protest in Lokoja, the state capital, which eyewitness accounts say left 2 people dead. According to the police chief, his officers are already visiting hospitals to ascertain the number of people injured during the protest and also bring the sponsors to book. Kogi State has in the last couple of weeks experienced protest and counter-protest over calls to recall one of its federal lawmakers. Meanwhile, the state police commissioner is insisting that going forward, any group that wants to protest will need to get police approval.
Already I have directed the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of CID in the command to take over investigation immediately. The DPO would have been here with us, but the DPO is with the DCCID, telling him because he was here from the beginning. And investigation has commenced. We have sent people to all the hospitals to find out where there are people who are injured. We're not given the opportunity, like I said before, to make adequate arrangement. And this, unfortunately, so we must be very careful. We want to have a rally. Why will not? Why you in exercising your freedom of association? You have to take several factors into consideration. This will help so that we avoid needless crisis that can cause a mass hysteria and apprehension.
The International Labour Organization, ILO, has asked the National Assembly to review the child labour provision in the Labour Act to meet international standards and respond to current trends. The ILO country officer, Dennis Zulu, made a request at a meeting with Senate President Bukola Saraki in the National Assembly. He says it is worrying that Nigeria does not have recent statistics on the prevalence of child labour. But the last survey in 2003 estimated that more than 15 million children are victims of child labour in the country. Senate President Bukola Saraki says the Senate would continue to engage with state houses of assembly to pass the Child Rights Act.
What then are the gaps or challenges as we fight child labour in Nigeria? One of the, for instance, is inconsistency in some of the legislations in Nigeria on the working age for children. The NAPTIP Act actually prescribes a very low age, I think it's 12, which is far below the 14 years old that the conventions prescribe. At the policy level, we've worked with the government, with the Ministry of Labour and Employment and other partners to put in place a national child labour policy, an action plan. So this action plan and policy have with it what we call a hazardous list. So through a consultative process throughout Nigeria, Nigerians themselves came up and put together a list of jobs that they consider to be hazardous and the jobs which children should not be working in. I must say, therefore, that one of our reasons for coming here is basically to call upon Your Excellency and Honourable Senators to help see how some of this policy can be put into legislation. Because as you know, policies is basically policy and is not enforceable by law.
The Senate, as part of the Children's Day, we had the opportunity to have a roundtable discussion with state assemblies across the country, looking at where we are on the Child Rights Act of 2003, which you're aware some states are still not domesticated this. And we got some commitments from them, hoping that the states that are left, I think about 12 of them or 14 of them, will work very hard to see that before the next Children's Day, they will see that these are domesticated in their state.
The some Nigerian youths, led by top music icon Charles Oputa, popularly known as Charlie Boy, are demanding a feasible change in the country. The group marched on the streets of Lagos in a rally to formally call attention to major issues confronting them, especially youth unemployment. 65-year-old Charlie Boy, popularly known as Area Father, says he is happy with the youths that they have now woken up from their slumber to take their destinies in their hands.
This is another set of youth who perhaps are yet to see results of government promises. from Oworonshoki area of Lagos, the protesters march, chanting solidarity songs with placards stating their grievances. The protesters arrived, Anthony, remaining energetic after walking some kilometers.
The youth are agitating for a better living, a better welfare, and most of all, a better Nigerian system that they can be part of.
The National Assembly is an assembly of comedians. I want us to understand that we must unite and fight these people.
This is Maryland area where some of the youth articulate their concerns. At Allen Roundabout, traffic is put on hold by Charlie Boy as the protesters arrive. I had a chat with him.
The salvation of this country just lies in the hands of his exceptional youth. So I'm glad that young people are finally waking up. It may not be all of them, but some of them are waking up. And those are the people that I'm looking at.
Charlie Boy, who is from Imo State, one of the southeastern states, seized the opportunity to call on his folks to stop agitating to secede from Nigeria, but rather industrialize the southeastern states.
The Afghan agitation came about because, a section of the country will feel marginalized, and rightly so. So the only thing that could bring some sanity, bring some calmness, is that our government has to start listening. Our government has to start being sensitive.
The protest finally moves to the Lagos State House of Assembly in Alausa, but there is a barricade. After a few minutes, some members of the House attend to the youth, calming their nerves.
We will not be here today to deny you your rights, to protest, to demonstrate, to express your rights as Nigerians. We are with you on that.
The resolve is to continue demanding a better Nigeria where hardship will be a thing of the past. Loretta Chiogo, Channels Television News.
As part of measures to reduce the cost of running local authority administration in the state, the Kaduna State government has scrapped a total of 4,766 traditional districts. The decision follows the recommendation of the committee set up by the state government to review the number of districts and village units in the state. With this development, 4,766 district and village heads will be dropped, as the state government says it will now recognize only 77 districts and 1,429 villages that existed prior to 2001. Well, that's it from the nation's capital. It's over now to Anne Nwawudu for Business News.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Gloria, and welcome to Business News. The Central Bank of Nigeria intervened in the interbank foreign exchange market today with $413.5 million. This is to help guarantee liquidity in the system. A breakdown of the latest round of intervention shows that $100 million was allocated to the wholesale window, while the small and medium enterprises window got $28 million. $25.5 million was allocated to the invisibles market for business and personal travel allowances, for tuition fees and medicals. In a statement from the bank, interventions carried out for the auction sales and the retail window last week was put at $260 million. Meanwhile, the Naira continues to maintain stability in the forex market at $3.62 per dollar. The Director General of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Muda Yusuf, says there is need for the unified documentation by the Nigerian Customs Service. He told Channels Television that an efficient certification process would encourage doing business in the country's foreign trade sector.
Another critical element when it comes to trade facilitation is valuation queries. It's a major problem that the business community is facing. You import a good, there's a value which can be verified from the exporter. You already have your PA issued by the customs headquarters. The customs headquarters also have a valuation unit. You get to the ports, they tell you that the value is not correct. And they begin to review the value, put you under all sorts of pressures and all of that. If there is a document from the customs headquarters that says this is the duty that you have to pay, I think that kind of document should be respected across the entire chain of the customs service.
The equities market halted its three-day gaining streak today as the benchmark index dipped against 1.03%, which was recorded last Friday. Emana Amawe has the details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. After extending its bullish run to 3 consecutive sessions in a row, the Nigerian equities market kicks off the new week in the red as investors booked profit on consumer goods, oil and gas, as well as banking stocks. Investors exchanged over 501 million shares, worth 6.11 billion naira in 6,635 deals, dragging the all-share index by 0.12% to a fair level of 33,235.28, with a total market value of 11.48 trillion naira. Market breadth ended negative as 30 laggards outweighed 20 gainers. Investors shaved off 8.63% from international breweries, which had advanced by about 34% week to date, coming ahead of UACN Properties and ILO Insurance. Ashaka Cement records the highest appreciation of 10.09%, closing at 12 naira and 77 kobo, while the bid on May and Baker continued by 9.86%, crossing the 3 naira 12 kobo level. Banking stocks moved the market the most, with strong sentiment seen over Axis Bank, FCMB and GT Bank. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Emana Amawe.
Thanks a lot, Imana. Share prices across the world lost ground today as investors globally keep eyes fixed on the Federal Reserve meeting scheduled for Wednesday. Let's see the numbers. With those numbers, we end Business News tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Umawado. The rest of the news at 10 continues with Ijoma.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Anne. Still ahead of the news at 10, French Open winner Rafa Nadal insists his 15th Grand Slam crown will not be his greatest achievement. That's on sports. You stay with us.